are reaching out to you, Saint Germain, with the intention of receiving your wisdom. Are you with us now?
There's purple in the room.
Wonderful. Welcome, Saint Germain. Let us know when you're able to hear him and when he's ready to speak.
He's beside me.
Okay. Are you able to describe what he looks like?
Robe purple. Just a lot of purple.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just how I know he's here. It's just purple.
Tell him I'm a fan as well of purple. I wore it for him today.
It's kind of all around me, actually. Like I'm encased in purple.
That's wonderful. Can you ask him why purple? What does it mean and why does he associate with it?
It's royalty. That is why I wear it.
Mm-hmm.
Universally known as that.
Yes. How do you perceive our call from your dimension and what allows or strengthens this connection?
Individuals are able to contact me via the DNA structure within certain individuals who are capable of traveling through dimensions without understanding you are actually traveling through dimensions via channeling.
For those unfamiliar with channeling, can you explain what this process is and how beings from other dimensions communicate with us?
Sure, channeling is very simple in terms of how to communicate. It's a connection within individuals who are able to have a certain degree of psychic abilities, which every individual can possess at any time if they are willing to ascend higher. It's all about the ascension process as far as lower frequencies are concerned. The reason why certain individuals stay the way that they are is because they like the Matrix how it is. They refuse to change their ways. Some individuals have taken a drastic step forward as far as individuals reaching a certain degree of level between dimensions. And to your question about how to simplify it, think of it as a bridge with the ladder, climbing up a ladder, and being able to access other dimensions by climbing up the ladder. The visualization is actually your double helix strand being able to receive messages from beyond.
You're effectively saying that every one of us is capable of channeling psychically.
Correct.
I see. And you had mentioned those of us who don't want to accept that are comfortable with the Matrix as it is. Could you briefly describe to someone who's only seen the movie The Matrix and heard it in that context, what is the Matrix?
Not a visualization of actually your world. The movie is just a platform that they chose to use. The individual process is it's within your own mind, your own complex of how you perceive this through the world. Individuals who are capable of what you are doing right now is a form of the red pill. Some individuals will want to move forward. It is a type of nudge that a person will feel deeply within their own body, physical bodies. The light body will activate when there is unison between the two, meaning the frequency. Once you rise to that level of the what you so call 144,000 frequency, which many of you have achieved unknowingly, will transpire a transformation as in a cocoon of a butterfly to a butterfly. Physical appearance will not matter. It is a journey that is within. Just abilities will be able to be accessed once you are there. Some have already started to gain access to the lower levels of what you would consider psychic abilities, which will dramatically increase over time. I am here just to oversee certain individuals, watching over them as we are starting to perceive what is real and what is not between realities merging together.
Thank you. For those unfamiliar with you, how would you describe yourself and your role in humanity's evolution?
Very similar to what you would consider Yahshua's role. We are very old.
You've been,
Yahshua
oh, sorry,
came
continue.
down to help humanity go forward, but unfortunately, one out of many was not able to succeed. Keys are within the starseeds
Hmm.
to balance the world. There is always going to be a duality that will never go away, but the balance of the scale can, in your layman's terms, flip as in a seesaw, which is in the process of occurring right now. The seesaw is tilted more towards the light now, as you may see. Some of the world is in chaos, some of the world is not. It is all about your perception within your own brain. It is up to certain individuals to keep the higher frequency levels, meaning loving, passion, doing what you love, to continuously hold the higher levels of consciousness that are bombarding your planet at the moment. Many photons coming in through the sun and position of our solar system. This has occurred many times. This isn't something that is new. It's just how the universe is perceived through the Milky Way galaxy. Perception.
Hmm. You had mentioned that duality doesn't go away. However, we are undergoing this shift into 5D. And I'm going to ask more about 5D later, but for now, talking about duality, can you give me a glimpse into what does duality look like in 5D? Because now it is extremely polarized. You know, we have murderers and people who wouldn't hurt a fly that exist right now in the same world. But what is it going to look like, the duality in a 5D reality?
Coexistence between the two.
Hmm.
The universe is not how it's perceived. Duality must stay. Similar to the yin and the yang, it will always exist, just to a certain degree has gotten out of control, which is also due to the ages.
Hmm.
While we are striving to go into the new golden age, as many have prescribed it to be, we are turning the wheel once again back towards a civilization that will thrive together, meaning on an individual basis, the three flames will start to ignite within individuals, as many of you have already experienced through a type of ascension. The flame is your heart. The flame is also considered to be a star within your heart that thrives this entire universe. You are all stars within.
Wow. So it's not just a term to say we're made of stardust. It's
Nope, you are also a star.
hmm,
Some can see it while meditating.
okay.
Just
Thank you for
what
that.
would consider to be a bright light within
Mm,
your heart area. Some see it, some don't. It's all depending on what level of consciousness you reach. Many are already enlightened, heading towards the ascended master's ways.
hmm
This is not new. None of this is new. It's just kind of repeating a cycle,
hmm
many cycles.
We're just not
Everything
aware of it.
revolves around cycles.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you for that. You've been known throughout history under different names. Can you share some of your past incarnations and what your mission was in each of them?
What you would consider King Arthur, I was also on that area. I have been many, some invisible that many do not see. Behind the scenes, I have been.
Hmm. So you were involved with the King Arthur court. Can you
Yeah,
describe in what capacity?
Merlin,
As a being, or was it like a school?
school teachings. Merlin was a physical person at one time who
Mm.
received these teachings.
And that is one of your incarnations.
Yes,
Hmm. Very interesting. How can someone know if they are connected in some way to an incarnation involved with Merlin and his teachings and his school?
you will just know it is something deep down within your essence. Most of the time, when you see it through your television, sometimes you will start to receive downloads specifically to a certain time period. All of the fractals kind of jive together, all together, to bring you into your essence of your current lifetime in all together.
Mm.
Many of you have received some of your fractals memories already, but it is a deep down knowing, as well as what you are doing, Dale. The QHHT also helps individuals, catapulting them on their ascension journeys.
Thank you for that. Yes,
This
it's
is not for everyone, just so you know. There are individuals who will never get beyond the religious aspects. One of the main particles of the religious aspects, certain individuals cannot get over that
mm,
and will remain in place, unfortunately.
yes, I always tell people that of all of the trauma I've seen in other people's past lives, religious trauma seems to be the trickiest to get out of.
It is not easy, but in time, more and more things with the pseudo science and realities of individuals will start to understand and perceive consciousness in a higher level,
Mm,
which some have already discovered, but it is not known in mainstream
mm.
yet.
What would you like to say, just a broad message to someone who really is a Christian, a proud Christian? And I know that oh my gosh, reincarnation can seem like a scary idea to them, but I do believe that their teachings do involve topics like that. What would you say to a Christian about reincarnation and why it's not that far off from what they were reading about?
It will be up to an individual basis as far as an individual starting to understand that not everything that they were taught is perceived how it is. Some will feel it deep down within themselves. As I said, on an individual basis, this is not for everyone, even though in the future it's going to be more widely accepted.
Yes. Cheers to that. Um, your most well-known incarnation was as the Comte de Saint-Germain, as an alchemist and mystic. What was your purpose during that lifetime?
To share the knowledge of what was lost and hidden from different societies who want to benefit from the teachings on their own, to layman's terms of what you would understand as fortunes, meaning money in this realm,
Mm,
greed, same things with the seven deadly sins as you would know it.
mm. Okay, thank you for that. People suspected you may have been a time traveler.
I
Um, what was that?
I am
What would you like to
of what
say about that?
and time traveling does not technically exist. It is a parallel.
Hmm. I did have a
Although
question.
I do not personally know whether or not time traveling devices exist within this realm. It is not out of question that those machines could potentially exist out of public sight.
Hmm.
I personally do not know.
Okay, thank you. Were you truly Francis Bacon? And if so, did you have a hand in writing Shakespeare's works?
I cannot answer that.
Okay. Are you able to explain
No.
why? Okay. All right. Many believe you were involved with secret societies like the Rosicrucians and the Freemasons. Are you able to tell us your role in those groups and the true purpose of those groups?
I cannot. No.
Okay, another off topic for now. Okay. You are said to have played a role in guiding the founding fathers of the United States. Can you confirm this? And if so, what was your intention during that time?
Hesitating there. Hmm. For me, he doesn't want to answer that. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's because I have a blockage of that nature, but as far as that information is concerned, he won't tell me that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Let's see. Are there currently leaders or figures in the US government who are being divinely guided and or are most influenced by other agendas?
Again, same
Off
with that.
topic.
Cannot
Okay.
discuss.
We'll stick to the awakening topics then. Okay, let's see. Many people are skeptical of channeling and believe we're making this up. What would you say to those who do question the authenticity of these messages and have a very much I have to see it in order to believe it mentality with these things?
There are signs you will see when you start to open up more on your ascension journey that meets more than meets the eyes, as in similar to Transformers movies, more that meets the eye, meaning it is a personal connection within your heart, as in individuals who have empathetic capabilities can and will understand the difference between whether or not you are channeling good or bad. It's like second nature to these individuals who have the ability to not only do mediumship through loved ones, but also able to connect to several different realms of what you would perceive different realities, including dimensional beings, interdimensional beings on a higher level. Some of these individuals, like me, as in Danny, have this ability to be able to channel with higher dimensional beings as well as the lower realms too at times, but can be cut off as some have reached a level of spirituality and an understanding to cut the lower dimensional beings from entering into your personal space through practices of what you would consider protection, as in the white light around you, as you were doing in the beginning with the pyramid. Some have other practices to do the same as what you are saying. That is all.
Thank you. So it's sufficient enough to just imagine the white light around you as a protection.
It is. That is the most simplest way.
Okay. All right. For those of us who do feel called to share spiritual wisdom, how do we handle the skeptics in our lives, especially those who may be very close to us?
How did Yahshua handle it when in his time? It's no different.
Hmm. Could you give a message then for the listeners who may be going through this right now?
Trust in your inner guidance, your intuition. Some have now been more activated now than ever. It is, as I said on multiple occasions, a personal choice. Not everyone will attest to working with certain individuals, as Danny is closest to Yahshua because that is his closest guide as
Mhm.
ascended masters, as well as myself. I am readily available to him because he understands the personal connection. This is on an individual basis. It does not mean an individual who does connect to an ascended master, there is a council of them. Certain individuals can connect to whoever they are most associated with, as in certain religions, Buddha or Muhammad. It doesn't matter. It's
Mm.
all the same, all one.
You're all in the same club, so to speak.
Correct. It's all one. It's only about there are several ways to get through the ascension process. It does not necessarily have to be through Yahshua or Muhammad. It's all one. This is what is confusing everyone on this realm. They don't understand it because of the divisibility
Mhm.
in societies that was ingrained in all of them due to nefarious organizations, which I cannot discuss.
Mm,
Individuals will understand what I am talking about, but I will not discuss that publicly.
I understand.
They have the knowing, they understand it,
Mm.
which you do, I'm sure. We just
Yes.
cannot publicly talk about this, period.
Mm,
Understand?
I do. Thank you. Yes, I know what you mean. Just yesterday, I met someone at the playground and he asked me my faith, and I said I was an omnist, someone who believes all of them, all the major faiths have a little of truth.
That is correct.
And it kind of blew his mind because he was like, I didn't think you were allowed to claim multiple. I'm like, why not? Like, there's no
That
rules.
same as many, and many of you have started out your journey either as a Christian or other religion. It is a personal choice
Mhm,
to make this climb up the Jacob's ladder, as you would so call it,
mhm,
which is the double helix strand within your DNA. It
mm,
is how individuals start to interact with each other on a basis of the frequencies. Once you start this process, it is not easily stoppable.
mm, mm,
A lot of individuals on this planet are actually going through this right now. Publicly, they may not state it, but individually, on an individual level, many are starting to question things because we are now out of the Kalanuya, whatever you want to call that, whatever
the
that.
the Caligula or Kali Yuga.
Yes, with the Buddhists, they have that understanding, and India, you there is so much confusion between you as a species because you are all separated because you all went a different way
Mm,
from the original. I don't know specifically. This is me talking.
mhm,
There was a group of, I don't want to, whatever you want to call them, but they all went their separate ways. Something similar to what I would say is the 12 tribes.
mm,
But the 12 tribes that are depicted in what you would call the Bibles
mhm,
are not exactly accurate.
mm,
Are extraterrestrial races involved here as well within those 12 tribes
mhm,
that went all over the place on Earth? But in a sense, you are all one. That is a major issue that some cannot get over.
mm. When people say we are all one, sorry, continue.
It's very frustrating from our standpoint, being
Mm,
up there in the realms, higher realms, as we observe all of this.
division, yes. When people say we are all one, I think a lot of people think of like hive mind mentality, but it's different. And can you tell people why it's different from some hive mind where we're all thinking the same thing? What do you mean when we say we are all one? What would you like people to understand about that?
You have to look at it as the what you would consider your sun, as in a big ball of fire in the sky. Think of it as an atom. Each one of you is one of those atoms that is connected to the sun. That is what I mean by you are all one, as in the sun. You all possess that one spark that makes up the entire sun, which
Mm,
makes you all one. Or there are other interpretations that you may perceive as on a tree, as in all of the leaves, all is one.
mm,
Different leaves, but all the same. Because individually, you all do have genetic signatures, meaning your energies that you put off are not always the same because you are unique in your own ways, but as a whole, you all are one,
mm,
as in humanity is concerned. another thick-headed issue that occurs here. Again, frustrating.
Mm. Yes, we're equally frustrated here on the ground. But thank you. Okay. Let's see. Is it necessary to try to prove these spiritual experiences to the naysayers? Or what would you like to tell people about how best to work around that energy?
To the best of your abilities, as I stated, there are going to be bad eggs in a chicken. Bad eggs, there's always going to be bad eggs. It's difficult to explain on this level, but there's always going to be that certain degree of hesitation to believing in all of this because there has been so much, I hate the term brainwashing, but that is the closest term I could bring forward here is
Mm-hmm.
indoctrinations all over the world, and it is not just here in the United States. It's ingrained all over, and not necessarily your fault
Mm-hmm.
as a species. It's because of certain aspects that have integrated within all societies, unfortunately. Something
Mm-hmm.
I cannot discuss. It's on an individual basis. You will understand in time.
While we can't discuss these maybe negative playing roles and groups, what would you like to tell people about how to walk through this current state of events with everything looking like it's purposely being done to get us afraid and scared of the future? What would you like to tell people about that?
You have to use your own discernment. A lot of it has to deal with outside world crumbling as you would see it. But on an individual basis, you just have to look deep in your heart and still hold on to whatever aspect that you would perceive to be in the higher dimensions, whether it is Yahshua or Buddha or whoever you feel you are the most connected to, will catapult the entire world higher in dimensional frequencies.
Mm,
That is the goal, which is pretty accurate.
okay.
Use your discernment with individuals. Most will see right through it if you are an empathetic individual. Just go with your heart. Your heart usually can decipher things.
Mm,
Or a deep gut instinct is usually correct on
mm.
multiple occasions, but use your discernment. That
Okay,
is the key.
thank you. Many believe the fabric of our reality is undergoing major shifts, as you said. Are we moving between dimensions?
Yes, but not as you may perceive it. Things are changing, as I said to you on multiple occasions. It's just how things work as far as your calendars are concerned.
Mm,
Universally, it's the same thing. You're just
mhm.
moving into another age, which continuously occurs. As I stated, this isn't the first time this has
Mhm.
occurred.
Right. It's like a loop. Okay.
Each time these loops occur, you gradually step higher. It is ultimately up to this generational decisions, whether or not that loop takes a step backwards again, it can remain in 5D and continue to move forward instead of going backwards through their cycles. But that is going to depend on how well it is perceived consciously through a majority of you so-called starseeds, up to your discretion as the direction we will go.
So just to summarize, so I'm clear that I understand. The shift up to 5D is happening at the same time this loop is happening. But in order to shift up into 5D, it's going to require starseeds or people to get to that frequency, the 144,000.
Correct.
Unlock their psychic gifts, spread that energy out, and help others rise up in frequency.
Correct.
Is there like a tipping point at some point that
close to it?
So we're currently close to it now.
Yes.
Can you describe the two separate experiences of once we hit that tipping point, what can a starseed who has reached that frequency expect in their experience first? And then the other experience perspective I would like clarification on is at that tipping point, what does an unawakened person experience?
As far as your starseeds are concerned, light workers, as in also same as your so-called dark workers or whatever, everything will balance itself out as it's just going to occur, no matter whether or not it's very cloudy at the moment as far as the direction the other individuals you spoke of who don't really perceive what you see. The world is shifting to a greater future. It's just a matter of time now that you will see it come down into your physical realm. That's what I can say.
Okay, thank you for that. I can't wait. Okay. I had a question. How can someone know when they've reached that frequency, the 144,000? What is a marker that we can look for?
Just a sense of peace within.
So it's like the true faith frequency.
Yes.
Okay.
Some have reached it already and don't actually realize it.
And this is something that you're not expecting humans to maintain all the time, but the time that we spend in it.
But
Sorry,
no, not everyone has to. There are people who have dedicated their life to this type of holding down the fort, as you would say. But
So
no, not every individual has to stay at that frequency all the time. It's just a matter of your loving nature within your heart that matters. Because no matter where you are, spiritually, physically, mentally, if your heart is in the right direction, it doesn't matter, because the ones who oversee everything know automatically whether or not you are telling the truth. You could be lying to yourself about your ways being heart-centered, but there is no way you're going to lie in the future, period.
Hmm.
Not possible.
Hmm. It must be against our nature.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. Gives us a lot to think about. So you're basically saying that it's like a radical revolutionary act to hold a frequency of true faith and trust without fear right
Yeah,
now, especially.
that's the biggest aspect of this.
Hmm.
Your world right now is faced with a lot of fear, including the media